There is a type of person who goes through life like a silent river. They never ask for help, even when the current is too strong. Have you ever noticed how some people carry the world on their shoulders without even murmuring "I need you"? While most don't hesitate to reach out, they'd rather sink in silence than admit they can't handle it. But is this just pride, or armor built to protect something much more fragile? Before you judge, no, there is nothing wrong with being self-reliant. Some people simply learn early on that depending on others is a luxury they cannot afford. They grew up hearing that asking is a sign of weakness or that things only happen when we do it alone. And, in a way, that even makes sense. After all, in a world where promises are broken as easily as they are made, trusting yourself seems like the only safe bet. But behind this apparent independence, there is often a story of disappointments that no one sees. Perhaps, in childhood, they reached out and found emptiness. They asked for help and received a turnaround in response. Or worse, they asked and were ignored, as if their problems didn't deserve attention. The brain registers, if I don't count on anyone, no one can disappoint me. Over time, the act of asking for help turns into an old wound that throbs every time the word need tries to come out of your mouth. It's as if pride were a scar on a pain that never healed. These people tend to be the ones who give the most, those who are always there, who solve other people's problems before they are even called. But when the situation reverses, they disappear. Not out of malice, but because asking for help makes them feel like they are breaking an invisible rule, that they must be strong at all times. For them, vulnerability is synonymous with defeat, and admitting that they don't know or can't is like handing over their weapons in the middle of battle. But here's the paradox: those who never ask for help are often the ones who need it most. Not because you can't do it alone, but because you've been carrying the weight of everything alone for so long that you've forgotten what it's like to share the load. They don't want to be a burden, they don't want to bother, they don't want to give others the power to say no. And so, they isolate themselves in their own fortress, locked away with their fears and their responsibilities, as if they were the only inhabitants of an island that they built themselves. Behind this stance, however, there may be painful wisdom. They understood that true strength is not in never falling, but in knowing how to get up on your own. They learned that dependence is a dangerous currency and that, at the end of the day, the only person they can always trust is themselves. But this lesson comes at a price: the loneliness of someone who never allows anyone to see their cracks. If you are like this, no, you are not cold, nor selfish, nor invincible. You've just learned to survive in a world that often fails to be safe. But here's the truth that few will tell you: asking for help isn't weakness, it's courage. It's admitting that, no matter how strong you are, no one was made to carry everything alone. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest proof of strength is precisely recognizing that, sometimes, we need other hands to hold what weighs us down. So the next time the word help hovers on your lips, take a deep breath and let it out. Not as a defeat, but as an act of rebellion against the idea that you must be perfect. Because deep down, the people who most refuse to ask for help are those who most deserve to receive it. And if this text made sense to you, comment here: have you ever experienced this? Share with those who also need to hear that there is no shame in needing it. And if you want more reflections like this, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Until next time, and remember, you don't have to carry the world alone. Globe showing Europe-Africa sparkles. The invisible weight of being others' safe haven. Have you ever been that friend everyone looks for when life falls apart? The person who listens to people's outbursts at 3 a.m., who dries other people's tears with the same hand that hides yours? If so, you know this feeling well. Being a safe haven for others is a gift, and a silent curse. Because here's the truth no one tells you: when you're too strong, the world forgets that you can break too. People come at you like boats in a storm, but they rarely ask if you're sinking. And here comes the paradox: the more you hold others, the heavier it becomes to carry yourself. No wonder you learned to smile while it hurt. Answering "I'm fine" with the same naturalness with which he breathes. Transforming your own wounds into lessons to comfort those by your side. But what happens when no one teaches you how to comfort yourself? When do you become so good at being the support that you forget what it's like to be supported? The strength trap: why you don't ask for help. 1. The fear of being a burden. Have you ever heard phrases like "you're so strong, you never complain"? So it is. Compliments like this are traps. Because when you are seen as the unshakable rock, any crack seems like a weakness. And then, asking for help becomes an act of betrayal, as if you were disappointing those who believe in your invincibility. 2. The savior syndrome. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to solve other people's problems than your own? This is no coincidence. Caring for others is a perfect distraction from facing your own pain. But be careful, those who spend their lives saving others are often drowning in silence. 3. The solitude of the understood. You are the one who understands everything, other people's pain, the silences, the between the lines. But who understands you? When you are the group's informal therapist, who holds your hand when you cry? This is the cruelest loneliness, being surrounded by people who depend on you, and still feeling alone. The silent rebellion, why you should stop being so strong. Here's an inconvenient truth: the world doesn't fall apart if you're not perfect. In fact, when you allow people to see your cracks, you give others permission to break free as well. Stop being the hero. Heroes burn. Being human is enough. Stop guessing what others need and start asking, and what do I need? Swap the automatic "I'm fine" for "I'm not today" when it's true. The people who matter will stay. Those who don't stay didn't deserve your effort. The most courageous act you can do today. If you're reading this and feeling a lump in your throat, this is your sign. The next time someone asks "How are you?" answer honestly. Not as a burden, but as an act of courage. Because here's the secret that no one tells you: the people who save others the most are the ones who need saving the most. And you deserve to be saved too. Now tell me, have you ever found yourself being everyone's safe haven while drowning in silence? Comment here. Sometimes, just by putting it into words, we feel less alone. And if this text made sense to you, share it with those who also need to hear it. Because no one should carry the world alone. Until next time, and remember, you don't have to be strong all the time. Sometimes dropping the mask is the most revolutionary act of all. Yellow Heart. P.S. If you want more reflections like this, turn on notifications. We're together. The invisible weight of always being strong, and why you can, and should, stop. Have you ever noticed how some people have an emotional radar to detect who is about to break down? They arrive with a coffee, a message in the middle of the night, or that hug that seems to say, "I know. I'm here." They are the natural saviors, the ones who carry the world on their shoulders without even realizing that they are drowning in crumbs of attention. But here's the question no one asks: who holds them back? Are your knees shaking? The "I realize it" trap. There is a silent epidemic of people who have turned "I'm fine" into a conditioned reflex. They guess other people's needs before they even ask for help. They minimize their own pain. It's nothing, just a bad day. They blame themselves when someone close to them suffers. If I had done more. But what is the cost of this? Their brain operates in emotional survival mode, always alert, always ready to put out fires. Until one day, the body turns off the autopilot and sends a clear signal: you are not a machine. It could be an anxiety attack, exhaustion, or that crying in the shower that doesn't stop. And here comes the cruel irony: the people who save others the most are the ones who take the longest to ask for help. Because deep down, they believe that being needed is the same as being loved. The myth of self-reliance, or why you're not a robot. Society glorifies resilience. Be strong, hang in there, this will pass. But no one warns that too much force without rest breaks. And that enduring is not the same as healing. Think about it. A muscle that never rests atrophies. A plant that does not receive water wilts. A person who only gives and never receives disappears. It's no wonder that the greatest caregivers, mothers, nurses, therapists, safe haven friends, are those who suffer most from emotional imposter syndrome. If I stop, everything will fall apart. So, I can't stop. But here's the bombshell truth. The world won't fall apart if you say "I'm not well today." The people who deserve to be in your life will stay. The ones that disappear. They were only there for the convenience of their sacrifice. How to stop being the savior of the world, without guilt. 1. Swap "sorry" to "bother you" for "I need you." It's not selfishness. It's survival. You are not taking anything from anyone, it is returning balance to a relationship. 2. Create an emergency code. Coordinate with a close friend a phrase or emoji that means, I feel bad, but I can't explain it right now. Just stay by my side. Example, fallen leaf. Falling leaf equals I'm falling, catch me. 3. Schedule vulnerable times. Block 10 minutes a day to allow yourself to feel. Without judging, without fixing. Just exist. Tip, set an alarm on your cell phone with the phrase, you have permission to not be okay. 4. Practice no as an act of love. Every time you say yes out of obligation, you are saying no to yourself. Magic phrase, I would love to help, but I can't today. Thank you for thinking of me. No justifications. 5. Make a list, things that only I can give myself. X. No one will give me permission to rest. Only me. No one will love me the way I need if I don't show them how. What happens when you stop saving others and start saving yourself? True relationships become stronger, false ones fall like dry leaves. You discover that your existence does not depend on being useful. Your energy flows again, and, ironically, you start helping better, because you are no longer exhausted. But the greatest gift? You relearn to recognize yourself. Because after years of being someone else's beacon, you finally see your own light. An invitation, no, a challenge. Today, do something radical. Text someone saying, I'm not okay. I need you. Or simply feel it in silence, without judging yourself. It's a start. And if this text hurt or made sense, share it. Not for me, but for you. Because someone needs to know they are not alone in this. You don't have to be everyone's anchor. Sometimes, letting yourself be carried away by the current is the bravest act of all. P.S. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you already knows that needs to change. Don't ignore that voice. She is you trying to save yourself. Yellow heart. And yes, you can cry if you need to. I won't tell anyone.